Um, Before Kelly was born, life was really boring and lonely. I didn't have very many friends growing up, which I guess, like most artists and actors and filmmakers, was a really good breeding ground for imagination and creativity, but was actually kind of sad in a way. Um, I really, really always wanted a little brother or sister, and I asked my parents if they would try to get me one. uh, and Kelly came along, and it was the best surprise of our lives. And I wouldn't trade her for the world. I can't imagine my life without my little sister. So, what was life like after Kelly was born? What was life like after Kelly was born? It became really interesting really fast. My parents got divorced a few months after Kelly's birth, and I was about 7 years old. My mother had to go out and look for work, or when she wasn't working, or when she was working, I would have to stay home with the baby. So I'd go to school during the day, take care of Kelly at night, and then on weekends I'd go to my dad's house, which didn't leave a whole lot of time for a social life, which then you can see how things didn't improve much for my social life until high school. I really bonded with my little sister though, because we spent a lot of time together. We fought a lot too, sometimes violently, but it was fun. It was fun growing up with Kelly. After college, I didn't really know what I was gonna do. I never finished college. I was doing an internship at a hair salon simultaneously as I was taking my art classes towards my art major. And then, since I didn't really know where the art thing was going, I decided to take on hairdressing full time. And that led me to some really interesting places. I went to study in Spain for a time and worked in some of the most highly ranked salons in my area. And it led me all the way to Los Angeles, where I decided to continue my cosmetology, beauty education in the realm of special effects and movie makeup, where I now work in the industry. So now I'm currently starting to direct and take on other kind of like production aspects of production. It's really fun. I consider myself to be a pretty impulsive person. I think most people around me consider me to also be a very impulsive person. I do things from my heart. So if I feel that something's wrong, I look for what it is that is motivating me in a different direction, or what I feel is wrong, and try to change it. And I just pretty much always just go with my gut. So when I thought things weren't really working out in Maryland, where I'm from, I decided to move to Los Angeles and start a new career in special effects makeup for film and motion picture. The most important thing about being an older sister is, someone's looking up to you, and that's kind of a great feeling, because not everybody gets to experience that, and I think it's important to try to be a good role model. I mean, obviously everyone makes mistakes, but if your younger sibling's smart, they'll try to not make the same ones you did. And being kind of I guess a guide or like a mentor is a really cool thing. And it's even cooler when you're related. So the best thing about being a sibling is just that. It's just, the connection you have between you and another person who knows everything about you inside and out, and your family, and understands the inner workings of your mind like nobody else, because they've been there. Are chaotic. Divorce affects a lot of families, and it affects everyone differently. But dysfunction, we are normal and yet dysfunctional at the same time. And I think that trying to be as normal as possible is as close as you can get to being a role model these days. What inspired my style? I would have to say what didn't inspire my style. I took on anything and everything and just adopted it into my look and my personality that I thought was beautiful, or creative or different. People said that, my crazy hair and tattoos and piercings was just a cry for attention, where I felt that it was more of a cry for finding myself and trying to find my individuality, or build, kind of like integrate myself into a type of tribe, like this music, arts, culture tribe that was very popular in my area. I didn't feel connected to anything else that's part of my heritage. I mean, I'm Jewish and Hispanic, and there aren't very many Jews or very many Hispanic people where I'm from, so I didn't feel very connected. And I felt like the one thing I did connect to was this community of artists and rockers, I guess, and I just took it on as my own. With every move across the world and across the country that I've made, I would have to say that the biggest obstacle has been making friends. We're more alike than unalike, as Maya Angelou once said, and trying to find that common ground can sometimes be a little difficult if there's a language barrier or a culture barrier, or sometimes just as simple as just your upbringing. So finding the softness in people is sometimes difficult, but I think everybody has one, and it just takes a little bit of effort to look for it and find it. And that's when you start feeling like you're part of something, and you start feeling like you're at home and part of a community, is when you have your tight-knit group of people who make your life interesting and worth living and make you feel loved and at home. So I have a lot of tattoos. You can't really see them, I guess, with my jacket on, but I'm kind of covered in them. And not least of which, one is my sister's name. That says Kelly right there. I got that when I moved out of my mother's house when I was 20 years old. Kelly's one of the most important things in my life, and I didn't want her to feel abandoned or like I didn't care about her. And I also didn't want to feel like I was without her, so I got her name tattooed on me so I'd always have her with me.